You won't like everything I'm about to say, but if you stay, something inside you might shift in a way you won't be able to undo. I'm 64 now, and I've buried more illusions than people. Not because life was cruel, but because I was, to myself. There's this strange moment that happens when you cross a certain age. It doesn't come with fireworks or warnings or some grand announcement. It just arrives, quietly, like a stranger sitting next to you in a dark room. And suddenly, you realize most of what you believed about life wasn't yours. It was inherited, borrowed, repeated, never questioned. And that's where it all begins to crack. I remember being young, thinking I had time, endless time. Time to figure things out, time to fix mistakes, time to become someone important, someone respected, someone worthy. But time doesn't move the way you think it does. It doesn't walk, it slips. One day you're making plans, and the next you're looking back at them, wondering why none of them felt like they belonged to you. I spent years chasing things I didn't even want. Isn't that strange? Working for approval from people who didn't even know themselves. Smiling in rooms where my soul felt absent. And the worst part? I didn't even notice, because everyone else was doing the same thing. That's the illusion, the most dangerous one. Not that life is hard, but that the wrong life can feel normal. You wake up, follow routines, chase goals, collect achievements, and somewhere in between, you lose the one thing that actually mattered, yourself. And nobody warns you about that. At 64, you don't just remember your life. You feel its weight. Every decision sits differently. Every moment echoes longer. You start to see patterns you couldn't see before, not because they weren't there, but because you were too busy becoming someone else. There was a man I once knew, or maybe it was just a version of me I avoided. He had everything people told him to want. A stable career, a respectable image, people who nodded when he spoke. But his eyes, they were always tired. Not physically, no, something deeper. Like he was carrying a life that didn't fit him anymore. One evening, I asked him a simple question. Are you happy? He smiled. Of course he smiled. That rehearsed, polite smile we all learn. And then he said something I've never forgotten. I don't know what that means anymore. That's when it hit me. You can live decades, and still not know if you've truly lived. We confuse movement with meaning, activity with purpose, noise with life. But life isn't what you do, it's what you feel while you're doing it. And most people feel nothing. Or worse, they feel something is missing, but they don't stop long enough to ask what. Because stopping is dangerous. Stopping means seeing. And seeing means you might have to admit something uncomfortable. That you've been living on autopilot. That you've been postponing your own existence. That you've been waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right version of yourself to finally begin. Let me tell you something that took me 64 years to understand. There is no right time. There is only time, slipping, quietly, indifferently, and it does not care if you're ready. I used to think courage meant doing something big, something dramatic, quitting a job, starting over, chasing a dream. But no, courage is much quieter than that. It's waking up one day and admitting, this isn't me, and then staying with that truth long enough until it changes you. Because once you see it, really see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where life begins to get uncomfortable. You start questioning things you once defended. Relationships, habits, beliefs, even your own identity. And people won't like it, because your awakening disrupts their comfort. They'll tell you you're changing, and they'll be right. But what they won't say is that you're finally becoming honest. And honesty is a lonely place at first. But it's also the only place where real life exists. I lost people along the way, not because I wanted to, but because I stopped pretending. And when you stop pretending, you realize how many connections were built on things that weren't real. It hurts, but not as much as living a life that feels like a lie. At 64, I've learned that regret doesn't come from failure. It comes from silence. The words you didn't say, the risks you didn't take, the truth you swallowed to keep things comfortable. Comfort is seductive. It wraps itself around you slowly, tells you everything is fine, even when it isn't. And before you know it, years have passed. Not bad years, not terrible years, just empty ones. And emptiness is harder to forgive than pain, because pain, at least, it proves you're alive. There's something else no one tells you about getting older. You start seeing people differently, not by what they say, but by what they avoid. The things they never talk about, the truths they dance around, the emotions they bury under humor and routine. And you realize most people aren't hiding from the world, they're hiding from themselves. I did that too, for a long time. I distracted myself with goals, responsibilities, noise, anything to avoid sitting alone with my own thoughts. Because in that silence, there were questions I didn't want to answer. Questions like, who are you without all this? And I didn't know. That's a terrifying place to be. But it's also the beginning of everything real. Because once you stop running, once you face that emptiness, something unexpected happens. You don't break. You begin, piece by piece, slowly, awkwardly. You start building a life that feels like yours. Not impressive, not perfect, but authentic. And authenticity is heavier than any success. It demands honesty every single day. It forces you to let go of things that no longer align, even when they're familiar, even when they're comfortable, especially when they're comfortable. At this age, I don't care about being admired. I care about being aligned, about waking up and not feeling like I have to perform my own life. That's a freedom I wish I understood earlier. Because we spend so much of our youth trying to be seen, and so little time trying to see ourselves. And that imbalance, it costs us years. Years of pretending, years of postponing, years of almost living. If I could sit across from my younger self, I wouldn't give him advice about success, or money, or even relationships. I'd ask him one question. What are you avoiding? Because the answer to that question contains everything. Your fears, your desires, your truth, and most importantly, your direction. We don't get lost because we don't know where to go. We get lost because we refuse to look at what's right in front of us. At 64, I've learned that life isn't about finding yourself. It's about removing everything that isn't you. Layer by layer, illusion by illusion, until what's left feels undeniable. And that process, it's not pretty. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely at times, but it's real. And real is rare. So if you're listening to this, if something inside you feels unsettled, good. That discomfort, that tension, that quiet voice telling you something isn't right, don't ignore it. That's not confusion. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step out of a life you didn't choose. I don't have all the answers. At 64, you realize no one does. But I do know this. Life doesn't wait for clarity. It moves, whether you understand it or not. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to feel certain. Don't wait to become someone else before you start living. Because one day, you'll wake up and you'll realize you were already someone. You just never gave yourself permission to be them. And that realization, it's not loud. It's quiet, heavy, unavoidable. So don't waste your life chasing a version of yourself that was never meant to exist. Don't trade your truth for approval. Don't confuse comfort with peace. And don't wait, because time doesn't. And one day, you'll be sitting where I am now, looking back, not at what you did, but at what you didn't dare to do. And trust me, that silence is louder than anything you've ever heard.